Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the dictionary. Yay! Aren't you so glad to be here? Don't you wish you had other friends who were here as well that you could talk to about this show? You could tell them about it. All right, the first word in this episode is coven or coven. Coven. Noun from circa 1520. I believe most people say coven and not coven. 1. A collection of individuals with similar interests or activities, as in a coven of intellectuals. And number 2, an assembly or band of usually 13 witches. That, I think, is the one that most people think about. Witches, a coven of witches. I didn't realize it was usually 13. I guess I can't say that I'm surprised. This is from the Middle English coven with an I instead of an E. It means agreement or confederacy. From Middle Latin convenium, which means agreement, from the Latin verb convenire, which means to agree, and there's more at the word convenient. How convenient. And so it's just people who agree on the same thing. 13 witches, they agree about witching, or a collection of individuals with similar interests or activities. Clearly, they agree on their interests or activities. There is a great scene in the documentary American Movie where there is a debate over how to pronounce this word, coven or coven. So if you haven't seen that movie, I recommend it. It's a very enjoyable scene. Okay, the sound effect, honk. That's what it's going to be. The next word is pronounced a couple ways, covenant or covenant, 2 syllables or 3 syllables. First form, noun from the 14th century. 1. A usually formal, solemn, and binding agreement. And the synonym is compact. Compact? Compact. Obviously, I think it's pretty obvious that the etymology is similar to coven. It's an agreement. It's green, all that stuff. 2a, a written agreement or promise, usually under seal, between 2 or more parties, especially for the performance of some action. 2b, the common law action to recover damages for breach of such a contract. Covenantal, that is an adjective. This is from the Anglo-French verb convenir, which means to be fitting, from the Latin verb convenire. And is that the same one? Yes, that means to agree. Honk. Next word is the same word, because this is the second form, covenant or covenant or covenant. It is a transitive, it's just a verb from the 14th century, starting with transitive. To promise by a covenant. And that is probably the written agreement or promise usually under seal between 2 or more parties, especially for the performance of some action. The synonym is pledge. And then intransitive is to enter into a covenant. And the synonym there is contract. Honk. Next is, now I think you would pronounce it covenantee. That's one way, covenantee, or just covenantee. I think the T is always emphasized because it is a noun from 1649, and it is the person to whom a promise in the form of a covenant is made. The covenantee, it is spelled with a T-E-E at the end. Connected to that, the next 2 words are, but the first one, honk, it is covenanter. Covenanter or covenanter. Noun from 1638, and I have to say that the end of the word is ER. You'll learn about why I said that in a minute. Number 1 is capitalized, a signer or adherent of the Scottish National Covenant of 1638. And that is the year that this was first used. The first usage was found in 1638 because it was the Scottish National Covenant. Number 2, one that makes a covenant. Covenant or covenant. So this one, I think this next one is going to be more related to covenantee. It is honk, covenantor. You can say covenantor or just covenanter. Noun from 1649, a party bound by a covenant. That's all I got to say for that, except for this next one, which might also be related possibly. Nope, I take that back. Honk, honk. It is Coventry. Coventry or Coventry. Capital Coventry. Noun from 1765, a state of ostracism or exclusion. As in, sent to Coventry. This just says it is from Coventry, England, so it must be a town or a city. Is that where they would send people to be ostracized or excluded? We need more information about this. There's so much more that they're not telling us. Maybe I'll put some information in the show notes. Usually when I put in a Wikipedia link or something, I don't actually read it. Sometimes I'll read a little bit of it. Maybe it's like the one part that I'm interested in. But yeah, I don't have time for that. I put it in for you. I do this all for you, so you can read it and learn more. Okay, honk. We're already on our last word, and the first form is going to be in this episode. The second form is in tomorrow's episode, and this one has many, many definitions and some phrases. So, it is the word cover, Cover, verb, from the 13th century, starting with transitive. 1A, to guard from attack. Give me some cover. I need a guard from attack. 1B1, to have within the range of one's guns. To have within the range of one's guns. The synonym is command. Okay, interesting. 1B2, to hold within range of an aimed firearm. 1C1, to afford protection or security to, and the synonym is insure with an IN. Insure. 1C2, to afford protection against or compensation for. To afford protection against or compensation for, as in a policy covering loss by fire. Yes, insurance, that's a big thing. It covers lots of things. 1D1, to guard an opponent in order to obstruct a play. So, to guard in order to obstruct a play, as in the example, a linebacker assigned to cover the tight end. Basketball, that's another one. I mean, there are roles in basketball that are literally guard. I don't ever pay attention to those role names, but I think that's one of them, isn't it? Isn't it? It must be. 1D2, to be in position to receive a throw to, and I lost my place. Okay, so that was the end, actually. To be in position to receive a throw to, and the example is as a base in baseball. So to be in position to receive a throw, like you're standing at a base in baseball, you're covering that base. So somebody can throw the ball to you. Maybe you're going to get the guy out who's running to that base. As in the example, the shortstop was covering second. That is because the second bass player was off running. Maybe they were looking at butterflies or nice flowers or something. Maybe they needed a hot dog or nachos. Whatever they were doing, the shortstop had to come in and cover second base. 1E1. To make provision for by means of a reserve or deposit. And the example of the thing that you are making the provision for is a demand or charge. As in the example, your balance is insufficient to cover the check. It will not cover the check. The check, you can't do it. You just can't do it. 1E2. It's getting complicated. To maintain a check on, especially by patrolling. To maintain a check on, especially by patrolling. Like, I guess if it's like a night neighborhood watch, you're covering the block. Okay, now we're on 1E3. This is the last of the ones. To protect by contrivance or expedient. It went over the second line. Yes, expedient. To protect by contrivance or expedient. 2A. To hide from sight or knowledge. And the synonym is conceal. As in, cover up a scandal. That happens all the time. Many people have tried to cover up scandals, conceal them from sight or knowledge. Maybe just don't do it in the first place. Okay, 2B. To lie over. The synonym is envelop, as in a blanket covering her legs. That blanket is enveloping her legs, and it's lying over her legs. Right now, there's a blanket. It's covering my feet. I made it cover my feet just so I could feel included. But no, I don't want to do that right now. Okay, number 3. To lay or spread something over, as in the synonym overlay. As in the example, I don't know why I said as in the synonym. That's not how I do things around here. As in the example, cover the seed bed with straw. And when I saw spread something over, I thought of just spreading butter on toast. You can cover that toast with butter. 4A, this one would have been better. 4A, to spread over, as in snow covered the hills. It sure did. That snow, it's a good cover over the hills and the gales and the lakes and the grass. 4B, to appear here and there on the surface of. To appear here and there on the surface of, as in a region covered with lakes. Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, so the lakes are here and there, and all over the place. 5. To place or set a cover or covering over, as in cover the pot. Maybe it's boiling, or you're waiting for it to boil, so you got to cover it, keep the heat in so it boils a bit quicker. 6A. To copulate with. That is the end of that sentence, and the example is a female animal. To copulate with a female animal, as in a horse covers a mare. And the only reason I can think of that word means, or this word means that, is because usually in the animal kingdom, the male comes from behind and is literally covering over the top of the female. Just because of the way the anatomy is, it just usually makes more sense to do it that way. So I guess that's it. I have not heard people use the word cover in copulating, but it makes sense. It does. 6B, to sit on and incubate. And the example of the thing that is being incubated is eggs. So, it's in the same world. That's why we had 6A and 6B, but it's very different. After the copulation has been copulated, the incubation has to be incubated. And so it's literally just sitting on top of the eggs. They need to stay warm, very, very warm, and then they can incubate. Number 7, to invest with a large or excessive amount of something, as in covered herself with glory. So did she invest in an excessive amount of glory? How do you do that? 8, to play a higher ranking card on, and the example is a previously played card. To play a higher ranking card on a previously played card. I can't think of the name of a card game off the top of my head as an example, but there are so many games where, the higher numbered card beats the other one, and so usually I think you would literally cover the card with the new card, and that's why it's cover. You cover it. 9, to have sufficient scope to include or take into account, as in an examination covering a full year's work. 10, to deal with. That's the end of that part. The synonym is treat, as in material covered in the first chapter. The first chapter, it dealt with that material. What material was it? 11a, to have as one's territory or field of activity, as in one sales rep covers the whole state. Well, unless it's a very tiny state like Rhode Island, that's a lot for one person. Yeah, that's too much for one person to cover. 11b, to report news about, as in reporters covering the campaign. Yes, you definitely hear that a lot in news and journalism. Got to cover that story so you can tell the people about it. 12, to pass over. The synonym is traverse, as in the hikers covered 12 miles that day. Well, depending on the terrain, that's probably pretty good. 13, to defray the cost of, as in cover expenses. You're helping to pay for the stuff. We have a 14, and we're not even done. 14, to place one's stake in equal jeopardy within a bet. Within. To place one's stake in equal jeopardy within a bet. But the within is not within. It's not the single word within. It's separate. So that's confusing me a little bit. That one was just worded weird. To place one's stake in equal jeopardy within a bet. I don't know, whatever. 15, to buy securities or commodities for delivery against. As in the example, an earlier short sale. 16, this is the last of the transitive verb definitions. To record or perform a cover of. Of what? A song. Yeah, that's a good one. I think it would be fun to just do some silly covers of songs. I've been wanting to do that for a while, and I haven't been able to do it. I started playing around with one. It's like a parody, so you can't really call it a cover. But yeah, eventually I would like to do some covers of songs. Okay, now we have intransitive. 1, to conceal something illicit, blameworthy, or embarrassing from notice. And this is usually used with the word up, like cover up. And that would definitely be connected to, where was it? I'm trying to find the transitive one. There's too much to read. I can't find it. It's in there somewhere. Conceal, to hide from sight or knowledge, conceal. Yep, cover up a scandal. There you go. That was the number 2A. Yes. And number 2 for intransitive, to act as a substitute or replacement during an absence. I gotta call in sick. Who is gonna cover me? Who's gonna help all the stuff. I need somebody to cover my job. Okay, let's see. Coverable is an adjective. Coverer is a noun. Phrase time, cover one's tracks. And that means to conceal traces in order to elude pursuers or escape detection. How are you going to cover your tracks? You got maybe literally cover them with dirt or snow or something. If you're in the snow, that's a hard thing to cover up. That's a very difficult job. But then if there's dogs tracking you, then you got to cover up the smell. How are you going to do that? But then of course there's the less literal cover one's tracks. Get rid of paper trails. Why am I telling you how to cover your tracks? Maybe just don't do a thing in the first place where you have to cover your tracks. Again. Okay, the next phrase is either cover the ground or just cover ground. And that means to deal with a subject or assignment in a particular manner. As in, the new book covers a lot of ground. See, cover ground. Okay, so the words were coven, covenant, covenant, covenantee, covenanter, covenantor, coventry, and cover. Well, it's either going to be cover or coven. I think coven. I think that's a fun one. The 13 Witches. We're going out into the woods. No, this is terrible. I don't want to go that route, do I? I don't think so. I don't even know what I'm going to say. We are a coven of witches. We talk very stereotypically. Maybe we just talk like this. We are a coven of 13 witches. Okay. I think maybe someday we'll need to end these songs, because I don't know if I can do this forever. And I feel bad if I do something dumb or disrespectful. I'm so sorry. Okay, this is the end of the episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. I said bye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the dictionary. It's this thing that you're listening to. That is what it is. Okay, so the first word in this episode is the second form of cover. This one is the noun. The very long section in yesterday's was the verb one. So this is a noun from the 14th century. 1. Something that protects, shelters, or guards, as 1A, natural shelter for an animal. Also, the factors that provide such shelter. An animal makes a shelter, it's their cover, and then the stuff that the cover is made out of is also called cover. 1B1, a position or situation affording protection from enemy fire. That needs to be a very strong cover. If you got a cover from enemy fire. 1B2, the protection offered by airplanes in tactical support of a military operation. So that's like when you say, "Hey, cover me." You got somebody else to go in to shoot things or drop bombs to help distract the people that you're trying to go attack with another team. 1C, this is British, and it is a few definitions for the word coverage, which is going to be our next word. They are the definitions 1A, 1B, and 2A. So when we get there, maybe I will remind you, hey, the Brits just say cover for those. Number 2, something that is placed over or about another thing. Like 2A, the synonyms are lid and top. 2B, maybe you should put the lid on the pot. The top on the pot. The top so it boils good. 2B, a binding or case for a book or the analogous part of a magazine. Also, the front or back of such a binding. 2C, an overlay or outer layer, especially for protection, as in a mattress cover. Maybe it's a fluffy mattress cover. It's thick, so you have some extra comfiness. 2D, a tablecloth and the other table accessories. Why did I pause there? Because I didn't know what the word was, because it was going over to the next line. A tablecloth and the other table accessories. It's all called the cover, because it all covers the table. Technically, the table accessories cover the tablecloth, and then the tablecloth covers the table. But we're not gonna be so specific. We're not gonna nitpick. Next is 2E. The synonym is cover charge. Yeah, there are some places, restaurants, bars, for whatever reason, you got to pay a cover charge just to get inside the place. Depending on the place, it could be cheap, it could be expensive. It's up to you if you want to pay it or not. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's up to you. Yeah, sometimes you just say, what's the cover? 2F, the synonym is just roof. Yeah, the roof. It literally is covering all the stuff below it. It is the cover. I think, I'm just going to start saying you got a great looking cover on your house. 2G, a cloth used on a bed for warmth or for decoration. And this is usually used in plural, as in lying under the covers. It's the most comfy place to be. Do I say the covers, or do I say the blanket? What do I say? Get under the covers. I don't know. It's kind of a funny phrase, funny word when you think about it, but it makes absolute sense. It's not that funny. It's just kind of funny to me, because English is funny. 2H, something as vegetation or snow that covers the ground. Could be grass, could be corn, could be also just snow or mud. Oh man, we're on 2I. The extent to which clouds obscure the sky. Yes, what is the sky cover, the cloud cover? Is it mostly cloudy, completely cloudy, partly cloudy, slightly cloudy, minusculely cloudy? It's the cloud cover. 3A, something that conceals or obscures, as in under the cover of darkness. Darkness is such a good cover because it's hard to see things. 3B, a masking device, and the synonym is pretext, as in the project was a cover for intelligence operations. Cover is an extremely versatile word. 4, an envelope or wrapper for mail. 5, one who substitutes for another during an absence. So the person is just called a cover? Yeah, I guess so. 6, a recording or performance of a song previously recorded by another performer. That's, the coverer is playing a cover. Coverless is an adjective. Undercover means one in an envelope or wrapper. It's undercover. And number 2, under concealment or in secret. If cops go undercover, they will pretend to be somebody else. They're under the cover of their new identity, their fake identity. Let's see. By the way, I forgot to talk about the etymology for cover in the last episode, so we're still talking about this word, so let's say it now. Let's see. It's basically just from the Latin coaperire, which is co plus operire, which means to close or cover. And it's funny because operire looks so much more closely to the word open, which is the opposite of closing. It means to close or to cover. That's yeah, it's not terribly interesting. So what is to open? How do you say that in Latin? Oh man, I got to do a sound effect. It's going to be just whoop, I think. Sure. Next word, coverage. Coverage. Noun from 1912, 1. Something that covers. As 1A, inclusion within the scope of an insurance policy or protective plan. And the synonym is insurance. Do you have good medical coverage, dental coverage, optical coverage, life insurance coverage? What's your situation? You don't have to tell me. Just it's good to have insurance. 1B, the amount available to meet liabilities. Again, that's all related to insurance. 1C, is this also related to sort of insurance? It is inclusion within the scope of discussion or reporting, as in the news coverage of the trial. So the definition again is inclusion within the scope of discussion or reporting, and the example is the news coverage of the trial. It had such a wide scope and they discussed it. 2, the total group covered. And the synonym is scope. What is the scope of this? The coverage, how big is it? I don't know. As in 2A, all the risks covered by the terms of an insurance contract. 2B, the number or percentage of persons reached by a communications medium. 3, the act or fact of covering. Okay, whoop. Next word is coverall. It's cover with A-L-L. A-L-L. Noun from 1824, a one-piece outer garment worn to protect other garments. And this is usually used in plural, coveralls. It's like overalls. Which was first, coveralls, or overalls? The coveralls cover the stuff that you're wearing below, underneath it, below. But overalls, it's over the stuff that you're wearing. It can cover the stuff that you're wearing, or it's over. They're so similar. They're literally the same thing, but the idea behind the words, the etymology, are kind of different, but they're only one letter apart. Isn't that fascinating? Coveralled. That is an adjective. I am not coveralled at the moment. I am not wearing coveralls. I don't remember the last time I wore coveralls or overalls. I think they're the same. I guess technically, I don't know. Should I get some coveralls? Whoop! Next is coverall. 2 words with a hyphen. Adjective from 1895, and the synonym is comprehensive, as in cover all provisions. Whoop! Next is cover charge. 2 words. Noun from 1921. A charge made by a restaurant or nightclub in addition to the charge for food and drink. Yes, we talked about that. I think that must have been in the last episode. You got to pay a charge, a cover charge, to get into a place sometimes. I just remembered I did not remind you which of the coverage words are just called cover in the England area. So, just real quick, I will say for coverage, 1A, inclusion within the scope of an insurance policy or protective plan. They call that cover. 1B, the amount available to meet liabilities. They call that cover. And 2A, all the risks covered by the terms of an insurance contract. They call that cover. Okay, good. I just needed to get that out of my head. Whoop! Next word, cover crop. 2 words. Noun from 1899. A crop planted to prevent soil erosion and to provide humus? Now wait a minute. What is this word? Humus. It's not hummus, the stuff made from chickpeas that's super tasty, tasty stuff that I love, because that has two M's. What is... And well, first of all, how do you pronounce it? I do need to go to the H's to at least figure that out, because I am flummoxed by this word. See, this is what is so fun about doing this podcast, is that I am just learning all of these new words that I didn't even know were out there. All right, we are just about there. Humus. It is humus. Humus. Okay. And it has to do with soily stuff. Humus. All you farmers already knew that. Okay, so we'll read that again. It is a crop planted to prevent soil erosion and to provide humus. This is a cover crop. It covers the land, and it's a crop, and it helps to prevent soil erosion and provide humus. Whoop, whoop. Next word is covered bridge. 2 words, noun from 1809. A bridge that has its roadway protected by a roof and enclosing sides. When I think of a covered bridge, I think of the bridge in Beetlejuice. There's a town not too far from here. We've gone to hang out in their downtown area a little bit over the last year or two, and they have a very small covered bridge. It's so very cute, and there's a very small, very old cemetery near it. So it's an interesting area. Next word. Whoop, boop, boop. It is covered smut. Okay, 2 words. I think there's a lot of connotations behind the word smut. So let's see what this is. Noun from 1900. It is a smut disease of grains in which the spore masses are held together by the persistent grain membrane and glooms. Glumes. So most of us, I think, when we hear the word smut, we think of something, but this is not that. It doesn't seem like it's that at all. So when we get to the S's, we will learn more about what is this word that probably has multiple forms, or at the very least multiple definitions. Next, whoop, it is covered wagon. 2 words, noun from 1719. A wagon with a canvas top supported by bowed strips of wood or metal. And I don't remember what the word was, but there was another word we had in the C's that was... It was just the same thing. It was this covered wagon. I can't remember the word. But if you're a regular listener, you probably remember that. Whoop! Next word is cover girl. 2 words, noun from 1915. An attractive young woman whose picture appears on a magazine cover. And, that word attractive is, first of all, very subjective. But also, it depends, because it's subjective, it's just, you could just take that word out. Because whether or not they're attractive, it doesn't mean anything. If they're literally on the cover of a magazine or something, they are a cover girl. Maybe it should be cover woman. I don't know if girl is the right word to use here, but yes, that's the conventional definition of a cover girl. Whoop. Next word, cover glass. 2 words, noun from 1881. A piece of very thin glass or plastic used to cover material on a microscopic slide. I remember this in high school biology. Did I do it in chemistry too? I don't remember. But you get the slide. Actually, do you get 2 pieces of slide? I don't remember. Maybe, no, I think it's maybe just the one. And then you got to cover your specimen on the slide with, I guess, this little piece of glass, so it stays in place. I think it's fascinating to look at stuff under a microscope. Okay, whoop. Last word, but we've got two forms. The first form, it's the word covering. Cover with an ing, noun from the 14th century, something that covers or conceals. And whoop, 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 whoop. Second form of covering, adjective from 1887, containing explanation of or additional information about an accompanying communication, as in a covering letter. Okay, the words in this episode were cover, coverage, coverall, cover all, cover charge, cover crop, covered bridge, covered smut, covered wagon, cover girl, cover glass, covering. Well, let's see. I mean, cover, I didn't pick cover in the last episode. Again, it's a very versatile word, so that's pretty cool. I guess, but a covered bridge is very cute. Covered. What am I going to pick? Well, we'll definitely post a picture of a covered bridge and maybe a covered wagon. And yeah, I'll just, but there's also coveralls. Maybe we can post pictures of coveralls. We'll just pick cover as the word of the episode. Cover. I don't need to put too much thought into these songs. Cover. All right, I think that covers it. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen, and all those who don't identify that way. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of The Dictionary. If you are a real fan, if you really love me, you will rate and review this podcast on wherever you're listening to it. You know, if it's YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each of the videos that are up there. If it's Apple Podcasts, click the stars that you think it deserves, which I think we all know what that is, and then write up a short little thing. The review really helps. I think all the other, or some of the other platforms have a rating reviewing system as well. Subscribe, share it all over the place. Let the people know that this is your favorite podcast in the world. It's not even my favorite podcast in the world, but it's up there. And contact me, dictionarypod@gmail.com. Is email old school? Man, I don't know what to do with TikTok. Maybe, I think I want to start one, but I don't know what to do. If you have any creative ideas on doing TikTok-y things for this podcast, let me know. Instagram and Twitter are @dictionarypod. I have a whole backlog of things that I got to post there, so I've been trying to do 2 or 3 a day. Oh, let's see, what else? There's a Google Voice number in the show notes. Call it. Just call it and say hi. All right, let's talk about the words. This is the last section of page 288. The first word is coverlet, or I guess some people say coverlid, L-I-D, coverlid. But I will say coverlet, C-O-V-E-R-L-E-T. Noun from the 14th century, and the synonym is just bedspread. The etymology says it is from the Anglo-French couvre, which means it covers, plus lit, which means bed. So it covers the bed, it gets covered. From the Latin lectus, and there's more at the word lie, like maybe lie in your bed and get covered. Let's see, sound effect. Glug, glug, glug. That's a weird one. I don't know how to do that. The next word is cover slip. One word, noun from 1875, and the synonym is cover glass. Let's see. Oh, that was at the end of yesterday's episode. It is just a piece of very thin glass or plastic used to cover material on a microscopic slide. It's a cover slip. Next word is cover story. 2 words, noun from 1948. It is a story accompanying a magazine cover illustration. So there's a magazine, and they got a picture of something on the cover. And then inside the magazine, there is a story that you can read about the thing that was on the cover. So that's why it's a cover story. Next word is covert. You could also just emphasize the second syllable, covert. I guess it might depend on the context. And then you could also just say covert. Not co, just covert. First form, adjective from the 14th century. 1. Not openly shown, engaged in, or avowed. And the synonym is veiled. V-E-I-L-E-D. Like there's a veil in front of the thing. It's obscured. You can't totally see it. As in, a covert alliance. Number 2, covered over. And the synonym is sheltered. Another synonym is the word secret. Covertly is an adverb, and covertness is a noun. And let's see, this is from the Anglo-French verb couvrir, which means to cover. And that's all it is. It's covert. It's been covered up by something. Glug, 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 glug. Second form of covert. Let's see. Covert, covert, or no T at the end, cover. You could say that too. That's maybe more French. Noun from the 14th century. 1A, hiding place. And the synonym is shelter. 1B, a thicket affording cover for game. 1C, a masking or concealing device. 2, a feather covering the bases of the quills of the wings and tail of a bird. A feather covering. So are those covert, covert, or cover? Because they cover. And then it says to see the wing illustration. I'm sorry, you won't get to see that for a long, long time from now. Okay, where were we? Number 3, a firm, durable, twilled, sometimes waterproofed cloth, usually of mixed color yarns. A covert. If any of these are visually interesting, maybe I will post a picture. I don't know if they are. Maybe the bird wings. The bird feathers. Maybe this cloth. I don't know what it looks like. Next, glug glug glug. It is coverture, coverture, coveture, or coveture. It is a noun from the 13th century. 1A, the synonym is covering. 1B, the synonym is shelter. 2, the status a woman acquires upon marriage under common law. What is this status? She has coverture status, so she's covered by her man? Is that what it means? Do we need to find more information on this coverture marriage status and put it in the show notes? Maybe. Coverture. Interesting. Yeah, I think we all can agree that this is pretty dated. Next word is cover up. 2 words with a hyphen. I think that sound effect messed up my voice. Hold on. Okay, cover up. Noun from 1927, 1A, a device or stratagem for masking or concealing, as in, his garrulousness is a cover-up for insecurity. Garrulousness? Garrulousness. I feel like that must be, how do we so maybe he's very excited, or he's overly fun. Garish, that maybe not garish. I don't know. I feel like there's another word that I can't just think of in the moment. But anyway, that's an interesting word. And yes, garrulousness. It's a cover-up for insecurity. 1B, a usually concerted effort to keep an illegal or unethical act or situation from being made public. I think that's the one that most of us think of. You did something bad. You have to do something so people don't know that you did something bad. Again, don't do the bad thing in the first place, probably. Unless it was an accident, and then, just come out, be honest. Say, hey, I did this thing. It was an accident. Didn't mean to. I ain't going to cover it up. Number 2, for cover up, a loose outer garment. It's, you wear some layers. Maybe it's a little cool outside. You got to have a cover up, and then if you get warm, you can take it off. Next word. It is covet. C-O-V-E-T, verb from the 14th century, starting with transitive. 1, to wish for earnestly. You are wishing for something, but you're very earnest about it. That you really mean it. As in, covet an award. 2, to desire inordinately or culpably. And the example would be something that belongs to another. To desire what belongs to another inordinately or culpably. And then intransitive, to feel inordinate desire for what belongs to another. Somebody has something. This is both, intransitive and transitive. Somebody wants something. You want it. Why do you want it? Maybe you don't know, but you love it oh so much. So much you want it for your own, so you covet it. One of the 10 commandments that the people say is, what, don't covet thy neighbor's wife or something? Is it covet your neighbor? Don't covet their freshly mowed lawn? I don't know. Anyway, it's not, just, I don't know. You got to do you. Here, maybe this will help if you're not understanding it. Another synonym is the word desire. And actually, it's not another, because there have been no synonyms for this one. So desire, that is a good synonym for covet. Covetable is an adjective, coveter is a noun, and covetingly, that is an adverb. This is from the Latin word cupiditas. Cupiditas, that means desire. From cupidus, which means desirous. From cupere, which means to desire. So yeah, it's all about desiring a thing. Next word is covetous. So it's connected to covet. Adjective from the 13th century. 1, marked by inordinate desire for wealth or possessions or for another's possessions. I would recommend maybe don't be so covetous. That's just my opinion. I don't think people should be so desiring wealth and possessions, and especially other people's possessions. That's their stuff. Get your own stuff. I just think we're very needy and greedy in that way. That's my 2 cents. Number 2, for covetous, having a craving for possession, as in covetous of power. Covetously is an adverb, and covetousness is a noun. And here we go with synonym information. Covetous, greedy, acquisitive, grasping, avaricious mean having or showing a strong desire for especially material possessions. Covetous implies inordinate desire, often for another's possessions, as in covetous of his brother's country estate. Greedy stresses lack of restraint and often of discrimination in desire, as in greedy for status symbols. Acquisitive, spelled A-C-Q-U-I-S-I-T-I-V-E, acquisitive implies both eagerness to possess and ability to acquire and keep, as in an eagerly acquisitive mind. grasping adds to covetous and greedy an implication of selfishness and often suggests unfair or ruthless means, as in a hard, grasping trader who cheated the natives. Those natives are always getting cheated, and they do not deserve it. Avaricious implies obsessive acquisitiveness, especially of money, and strongly suggests stinginess, as in an avaricious miser. Although, is it see, you know what? Now I really want to go back to the AVs and see if I'm pronouncing this correctly. See, we've already read the AVs. We've done that, so I feel like it's okay for me to go back. Sometimes, though, I look ahead. Okay, where is this word? Let's see. Avaricious. Yep, that's how you say it. I am so smart. Okay, last word. It is covey. Covey. Noun from the 14th century. 1. A mature bird or pair of birds with a brood of young. And then also just a small flock. So one bird with babies or two birds with babies. That's called a covey. Number 2, the synonyms are company and group, as in a covey of school children. How have I never heard of this word? Okay, this is from Anglo-French covet. It means sitting, and then in parentheses it says of hen, so I guess hens sitting. From cover, which means to sit on or brood over. And then from Latin cubare, which means to lie. All right, so the words in this episode, not the other episodes, just this one: coverlet, cover slip, cover story, covert, coverture, that would just be coverture, cover up, covet, covetous, and covey. Let's see, we got bedspread, the magazine story, something secret. Well, maybe this is going to be one of those times where I pick something I'm not a big fan of, and I think you all know what that is. It is covetous. I think that one's a bit better than just covet. Covetous is the word of the episode, just because I just don't think it's a great, what's the word? Feature, a great personality trait, a great, I'm not a big fan of that trait. Don't be covetous. It doesn't look so good. Yeah, that's it. All right. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. How are you doing? I am seriously inquiring because I want to know. All right. First I have to say, this is very late news, but it's right on time for me. Thank you to my new patron, Brian. Thank you for becoming a patron of this podcast. You are great, and if anybody else wants to join the Patreon, you will get episodes extremely early. This episode that is airing on March 29th is being recorded on February 18th and will probably get up onto Patreon within the next week or so. So yeah, you're going to get stuff real early. If you're so excited about hearing new episodes from the dictionary, you should go join the Patreon. And there are some exclusives, and I really need to get more exclusives up there someday. Anyway, so Brian, thank you for becoming a patron. You are number two. I hope you're enjoying it. Okay, let's talk about the words. Top of page 289. The first word is cow. So I actually had a sound effect in mind, but I think we need to go back to the good old standard moo that I did recently. Because, why not? So, cow. First form, noun from before the 12th century. 1A, The mature female of cattle. The genus name is Bos, B-O-S. The boss, they are the bosses of the field. 1B, the mature female of various, usually large animals, as in elephant, whale, or moose. Yes, the mature females of those animals and other animals are called a cow. Maybe you didn't know that. 2, a domestic bovine animal regardless of sex or age. A domestic bovine. So male, female, age doesn't matter. Sometimes people just call them cows. All those different things. Let's look at the etymology. Middle English, cow, with a U, a single U, instead of a double U. From Old English, cu, C-U, with a line over the U. Akin to the Old High German quo, with a K, which means cow. From the Latin bos, B-O-S, which means head of cattle. From the Greek bos, B-O-U-S, also from the Sanskrit go, just G-O, although I don't know how they actually pronounce it. So that must mean cow or head of cattle. There is a picture of a cow, if you didn't know what it looked like, but more specifically, there are 38 things, 38 parts of the cow, and I will quickly read them and say generally where they are. Most of these you will probably know. I'm not going to get terribly specific because there's, like I said, 38 of them. And a lot of these are meat related, which of course I'm not a big fan of, but if you want more information on that side of things, you can go look it up yourself. All right, so number 1 is the hoof or hoof. That's the bottom of the foot, the very, very bottom of the foot. Right above the hoof is number 2, the pastern, basically looks like the ankle. Number 3 is the dew claw, D-E-W-C-L-A-W. That looks like the little part that sort of sticks out in the back. I guess it would be next to the ankle, or what I would call the ankle, basically right next to the pastern. It's just the thing that sticks out. It's the dew claw. What does it do? It's a claw? Okay, 4. Serious. 4. It is the switch, and I believe that this is pointing to the end of the tail. That's what it looks like from this picture. 5 is the hock, and this looks, if I were to put it in human terms, this would essentially be the knee, where like the upper leg meets the lower leg, but it's the knee, it sort of points backwards. That is the hock. Number 6 is the rear udder. The udders are, of course, underneath the belly, tail, butt region, but this is the rear udder, so it's the back of it, closest to the tail. Number 7 is the flank, and this sort of looks like where the torso meets the upper leg. That's where it's pointing to. Number 8 is the thigh. So this is the very high portion of the upper leg, pretty close to the tail. Not quite there, but it's getting close. Number 9 is the tail. Number 10 is the pin bone. So this is the bone that sticks out. It's on the butt. It's next to the butthole, basically. And it's right next to where the tail meets the rest of the body. That is the pin bone. 11 is the tail head. So this is the top of the tail where it meets the rest of the body. Number 12 is the thurl. Thurl? T-H-U-R-L. I have a feeling it's very close to the thigh, so I wonder if that's why they call it the thurl. So it is it's the very top of the upper leg, but it's really close to the back. It's closer towards the head from the tail. Number 13 is the hip. So that's very close to the thurl, but even closer to the head. It's the back third from the tail. The 14 is the barrel. This is even closer towards the head. It's almost the center of the back at the very top. That is the barrel. 15 is the ribs. That's right on the side of the body. Number 16 is the crops. So this is a section right along the middle, a bit closer to the head from the ribs. It goes right along the whole center of the cow. 17 is the withers. And this is right at the top of the back, kind of where like the shoulder blade would be, closer to the head from the crops. So it goes hips or ribs, crops, withers, but this is pointing right to the top of the back. 18 is the heart girth. That I guess would be the center part. 16, which is the crops, it's in that area. And then, the heart girth is the whole center section. 19 is the neck. It's just pointing to the neck, behind the ears. Number 20 is the horn. I hope you know where the horns are. It's on the top of the head. There's usually 2 of them. 21 is the poll, P-O-L-L. This looks like this is the top of the head right in between the horns. I honestly have never heard of most of these. 22 is the forehead, and this is just the front of the head in between the eyes, or maybe a little bit above the eyes. It's basically where your forehead is. 23, bridge of nose. So this is the whole area that goes from the eyes down to the end of the nose, just like your bridge of your nose. 24 is the muzzle. It's not your muzzle, it's the cow's muzzle. It's the mouth region. 25 is the jaw. So that's, the bottom part of the mouth. 26 is the throat. It's in the same spot where your throat would be. It's further down from the jaw, down the neck a little bit. 27 is point of shoulder. So this is where the upper front leg meets the rest of the body. 20, but it's not at the top of the back. It's down further on the torso. 28 is the dewlap, D-E-W-L-A-P. And this is basically the front of the chest. To keep on going down the neck, it's the front of the chest, kind of where the legs meet the body. It's that part that sort of hangs down. But it's the front part of it. 29 is the point of elbow. So this is also where the top front leg meets the rest of the body, but it's on the back side. 27, point of shoulder is on the front side of the front leg. 29, point of elbow is on the back of the front leg. 30 is the brisket. This is, I don't think that's the technical term for it. It's probably the meat-related term for it. But this is right below the dewlap, 28. It's the very bottom part of the front part of the chest, next in between the legs, the front legs. 31 is the chest floor. So this is right in between the front legs, maybe even a little bit further back towards the tail, bottom of the cow. 32 is the knee. So this would be the middle part of the front legs. We know where the top part and the bottom part meet. If we go back to number 5, which is the hock, I said that's kind of like the knee, but it's for the back legs. Number 32, knee, is for the front legs. 33 is the milk well. And this is the bottom of, middle bottom of the belly, right there where like it dips down the most, right in front of the udders towards the head. Number 34 is the milk vein. So this is basically that same area. 35 is the fore udder, and fore is F-O-R-E. So that would be like the front udder. Let's see, 30. Yeah, I think that would be the front udder. And then 36 is the teats, T-E-A-T-S. and that would be the parts that stick down, the part that, when you're milking a cow, that's, the baby, the calf, is drinking milk from the cow. Those are the parts that stick down. 37 is the rump. And, okay, so this is a section, I don't know, depending on how big the cow is, maybe it's a foot long. It's from the top of the tail to, a little bit towards the head, maybe a foot or so. That section there is the rump. And then the loin, number 38, the very last one, is the next section in front of the rump towards the head, also maybe a foot long or so. Who knows? That's the loin. That was the first form of cow. Moo. Now we have to go on to the second form of cow. Verb from 1581. Let's see. It is just transitive, and there's just one definition. To destroy the resolve or courage of. Also, to bring to a state or an action by intimidation. And this is used with the word into, as in, like too many Asian armies, adept at cowing a population into feeding them. And that is a quote from Edward Lansdale. Like too many Asian armies, adept at cowing a population into feeding them. So bring to a state of action basically the intimidating them into bringing them food. I have no idea what the context is, so I can't say whether or not this is positive or negative, but it seems like it's kind of a negative statement. But maybe it's true. I don't know. And then a synonym is the word intimidate. Cowardly, cowedly, cowardly, that is an adverb. So this is probably of Scandinavian origin, akin to the Danish word Q, K-U-E, and that means to subdue. I'm going to subdue you into doing what I want you to do, I guess. Moo. Next word is coward. Noun from the 13th century, one who shows disgraceful fear or timidity. That's being very timid. And coward is also just an adjective. So this is from Anglo-French couard, which is from Q or co, which means tail. Also from the Latin cauda, which I would assume means tail, but it doesn't tell me. So, yeah, I guess if you combine, afraid or timid to tail, it's like you're putting your tail between your legs. If a dog is scared, they'll put their tail between their legs. So that's sort of how I'm thinking of that. Yeah, that's coward. Moo. Next word is cowardice. Cowardice. Some people say cowardice, because that's how it's spelled, cowardice. Noun from the 14th century, lack of courage or resolution. I think to a degree I'm a bit of a coward, but I try to be not terribly cowardly. Oh, that's our next word. Well, let's talk about cowardly. Moo. Moo. So we have two forms. This is actually our last word. We basically had 5 words in this whole episode. So the first form of cowardly, adverb from the 14th century, in a cowardly manner. In a cowardly manner is cowardly. Moo. Moo. Second form of cowardly, adjective from 1551, being, resembling, or befitting a coward. Oh, that fits that coward so well. As in, a cowardly retreat. That would be retreating away in a cowardly fashion. Not a retreat in Hawaii that is cowardly. And we have synonym information for this form of cowardly. And there is a fun word here. Okay, cowardly, pusillanimous, craven, and dastardly mean having or showing a lack of courage. Cowardly implies a weak or ignoble lack of courage, as in a cowardly failure to stand up for principle. Pusillanimous, I hope that's how you say it. By the way, it is spelled Pusillanimous. I am guessing it is pronounced pusillanimous. How else would you say it? Pusillanimous? Nah. Anyway, that word suggests a contemptible lack of courage, as in the pusillanimous fear of a future full of possibility. Lack of courage. I'm trying to put this in my brain. Isn't that what the other one was? They're all lack of courage. So a lack of courage, the pusillanimous fear of a future full of possibility. Well, I guess people are afraid of a future that's full of possibility. Craven suggests extreme defeatism and complete lack of resistance, as in secretly despised her own craven yes-men. Dastardly often implies behavior that is both cowardly and treacherous or skulking or outrageous, as in a dastardly attack on unarmed civilians. That is a not nice thing to do. All right, let's quickly reread this very small handful of words. Cow, coward, cowardice, cowardly, and cowardly. Well, I think I'm going to pick cow as the word of the episode. A lot of people may not think of this all the time. I'm sure I have said this and probably will say it again. But cows have to have a baby to make milk. You know, that's how that happens. How deep do we want to get into this? If there's dairy of any kind, that's because it has come from a cow that has had a baby and then makes milk. And most often, especially if it's in a factory farm situation, that baby is taken away from them and the farmers take their milk away, and it's not usually a great situation for that cow. They have to be pregnant to make milk. That is just a fact. They have not made any cows that make milk all the time without having a baby. I could go way further into this. I'm not going to. Maybe in the future we will. But anyway, I just feel like this is something that not a lot of people know of or think about, so I have to say it. I feel like it is my duty to say it. Cows. Are there songs about cows? Maybe I should just make up a song about a cow, because that's what I do when I remember to sing a song. Cow, 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 cow. You are so great and nice and sweet. Cows are great. They're just chilling, eating, hanging out. All right, that is going to be the end of this episode. Thank you very much. Again, thank you to Brian for becoming a new patron. If you want to do it, the information is on the show notes. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this episode of the podcast called The Dictionary. The Dictionary. For those of you who don't know, I read my name is Spencer. Hello, how are you? Good, I'm great. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate that. Not everybody asks me how I'm doing. So I read the dictionary. I read 1/4 of a page, give or take, in each episode. And beforehand, before I record, I read the words that I'm going to read in this section, but I do not read any of the definitions. I really just want to make sure I know how to pronounce them, mostly. So this is all very new to me. There's no planning involved, unless there's a guest on, which we might do a tiny bit of planning, but even then, not so much. I will do sound effects in between the words these days, just because it's fun, and it's just a designation in between each entry. And then at the end, I will pick a word of the episode and I will try to sing a song about it, and it's terrible. And there's bad jokes, and I'm learning throughout this whole thing, and it's a good time. A good time is had by all. And what else do I have to say about it? Oh, there's no editing. Unless I gotta like blow my nose or something, this is all off the cuff, no editing, and it's fun. It's real fun and educational. Okay, let's talk about these words. There's a whole bunch of these cow words, so we gotta talk about them. The first one is cowbane. One word, Cowbane, noun from 1776. Any of several poisonous plants of the carrot family. Like water hemlock. That is cowbane. Oh, and I gotta do a sound effect. It is ooh. Next word, cowbell. Can we please have some more? Noun from 1625. A bell hung around the neck of a cow to make a sound by which the cow can be located. You got to find out where your cows are. How are you going to do that? It's a little ding-a-ling-ling. Or was the thing, did they say I need more cowbell? I think it was cowbell. Yes, it was. Yeah, you got to find your cows. How are you going to find it if they're not making a sound and you can't see them? The cowbell will tell you. Ooh. Next word is cowberry. One word, noun from 1800. The synonym is mountain cranberry. But then also, its fruit is also called cowberry. Ooh. Next word is cowbird. One word, noun from 1810. Any of a genus of New World blackbirds that lay their eggs in the nests of other birds, especially one of them that is widespread in the U.S. and southern Canada, in which the male is black with a brown head and the female is gray. Okay, I may have heard of these before. They lay their eggs in the nests of other birds. Are these the ones where when that bird hatches, they will actually push the other babies out of the nest so the mother raises them and, it basically is like less competition. It's so fascinating. How I think we know why, but like, how did this happen? The genus name for all these blackbirds are Molothrus. They're of the family Icteridae. And then the one that is widespread in the U.S. and southern Canada the scientific name is Molothrus ater. I got it close enough. Okay, maybe we'll post a picture of this guy too. I don't know why I said two, because I didn't say that for anything else. Cowberry, I don't know if I want to post a picture unless it's really cool looking. Probably won't be. Cowbell, that might be silly to post a picture of that. Next word. Ooh. Cowboy. One word, first form, noun from 1623. One who tends cattle or horses, especially a usually mounted cattle ranch hand. A cattle ranch hand. Mounted, they would be mounted probably on a horse. Number 2, a rodeo performer. Just go perform in that rodeo. 3, one having qualities, and then it lists some qualities. One having qualities popularly associated with cowboys. So real quick, I'll just say what these qualities are. You can agree or disagree. Recklessness, aggressiveness, or independence. Yep. And then we have more sub-definitions, 3A. Anyway, I'll combine this all together. One having qualities popularly associated with cowboys, like 3A, a reckless driver. You call a reckless driver a cowboy? 3B, a business or business person operating in an uncontrolled or unregulated manner. Those cowboys, they're so reckless, aggressive, and independent. Ooh. Next word is the second form of cowboy, intransitive verb from 1948, to work as a cowboy, as in cowboyed in Texas and Oklahoma. Ooh. Next is cowboy boot, 2 words, noun from 1895, a boot made with a high arch, a high Cuban heel, and usually fancy stitching. Maybe we should find a picture of some super fancy stitching on a cowboy boot and post that on the Instagram and Twitter, which is at dictionarypod. Cowboy boots. These boots are made for cowboying. Ooh. Next word is cowboy hat. 2 words, noun from 1895, a wide-brimmed hat with a large, soft crown. And this is called also 10-gallon hat. So cowboy hat and cowboy boot were both 1895. So I wonder what happened in 1895. Did everybody just start wearing those? Is that when they were invented? What happened there? Ooh. Next word is cow catcher. 1 word, noun from 1838, an inclined frame on the front of a railroad locomotive for throwing obstacles off the track. And, okay, so this is the front part of one of those old school coal trains or something. It's inclined. There's a point to it. You all have seen pictures of these. And it's, if something is on the track, it will push them off the track so the train doesn't run over them. And they just called it a cow catcher because I'm sure cows often got on the railroad tracks, and then the train would come and hit them and probably kill them and push them off. Not great for the cows. I'm not a fan of that. Ooh. Next word is cow college. 2 words. It's where the cows go to learn how to be a better cow. Noun from circa 1915. 1. A college that specializes in agriculture. 2. A provincial college or university that lacks culture, sophistication, and tradition. College that specializes in agriculture. I think there's a different name. I think there's a more proper name than cow college. So this is probably more of like a slangy type of word or phrase for that type of school. Ooh. Next word is cower. Cower. Intransitive verb from the 14th century. To shrink away or crouch, especially for shelter from something that menaces, domineers, or dismays. And a synonym is the word fawn. Cower away. Is there cower? There was that character in It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Cower, I think was his name. But I don't think that had anything to do with him, how he acted necessarily. Cower, this is probably very related to coward. If you are a coward, you will probably cower. Ooh. Next is cowfish. I love these words that are two things that don't seem like they fit. Like we had cowbird here. Even cowboy, if you think about it, those are 2 words that don't seem like they should match. Okay, cowfish. 1 word, noun from 1870. Any of various small, bright-colored, bony fishes with horn-like projections over the eyes. And the family name is Ostracidae. And I would assume that they're called cowfish because of the horn-like projections. Maybe they sort of have, cows have horns. Maybe they sort of look like cows. Ooh. Next word is cowgirl. Noun from 1884. And hey, let's go look at cowboy. That was 1623. And cowgirl was 1884. About 260 years. 1. A girl or woman who tends cattle or horses. 2. A girl or woman who is a rodeo performer. That's cowgirl. They weren't allowed to tend to cattle or horses for many years. Next word. Ooh-woo. It is cowage, spelled either Cowhage, or you could take out the H. Noun from 1640. A tropical woody vine of the legume family with crooked pods covered with barbed hairs that cause severe itching. Ugh. Also, these hairs formerly used as a vermifuge. The scientific name is Mucuna pruriens, something like that. And this is from Hindi. I assume it's pronounced kind of like cowage, but it is spelled Kavac or Kevac. Ooh. Next word, cowhand. One word, noun from 1852, and it's just the number one definition for the word cowboy. The cowboys have cowhands. Next, ooh, cowherd. Noun from before the 12th century. Also, one who tends cows. They have to herd them, so they're a cowherd. Ooh, 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 ooh. Next word, cowhide. First form, noun from the 14th century. 1. The hide of a cow. Also, leather made from this hide. 2. A coarse whip of rawhide or braided leather. Ooh, 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 ooh. Second form of cowhide, transitive verb from 1794, to flog with a cowhide whip. So that's, of course, the number 2 definition, a coarse whip, and then to hit with it is to cowhide. All right, just a couple more here. Ooh, it is cow horse. That's just very silly to me, as I mentioned before. This is 2 words. What, is it a cow or is it a horse? I'm so confused. Noun from 1853. The synonym is cow pony, which is also 2 words, and we will see that in tomorrow's episode. And one more word, last word, ooh. It is cowl, Cowl, first form, noun from before the 12th century. 1a, a hood or long hooded cloak, especially of a monk. 1b, a draped neckline on a don't know why my mouth stopped. A draped neckline on a woman's garment. 2a, a chimney covering designed to improve the draft. 2b, the top portion of the front part of an automobile body forward to the 2 front doors to which are attached the windshield and instrument board. Wow, that one was complicated. 2c, the synonym is cowling. Let's see, the etymology for this one from Lower Latin cucula, which is a monk's hood. Yeah, that's it for that pretty much. Okay, so the words in this episode were cowbane, cowbell, cowberry, cowbird, cowboy, cowboy boot, cowboy hat, cowcatcher, cow college, cower, cowfish, cowgirl, cowage, cowhand, cowherd, cowhide, cow horse, and cowl. Oh my God. Let's see. I think I will pick cowbell as the word of the episode. I so wish I had a cowbell here. Bring, 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 bring. I need more cowbell. Bring, bring. I'm just hitting it and making this sound. I don't have a real cowbell here. Give me some more cowbell, please. All right, we're going to end the episode there. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, later, it is still me, Spencer, dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. Thank you for putting on this podcast, and I assume that you, of course, are all sharing it with everybody you know and writing all the reviews, all those fun things. Okay, so the first word in this episode is the second form of cowl, C-O-W-L. This is a transitive verb from 1536, to cover with or as if with a cowl. I didn't mention it in yesterday's episode, but, things like what Batman wears on his head, that is called a cowl. Maybe we'll post a picture of something, maybe not that specifically, but that's called a cowl. Sits on the head, goes around the head and the neck and all that stuff. Okay, the sound effect is ah. Yesterday it was ooh. Today it is ah. Okay, next word is cowlick. It's the cowlick, probably the thing in the hair. One word, noun from 1598. A lock or tuft of hair growing in a different direction from the rest of the hair. But could it also be just hair that maybe from bedhead is just going off in another direction? Did this come from people saying it looks like a cow licked your hairs and they're that part of your hair and so it's going in another direction from the rest of the hair? Is that literally what they said? I don't know. Ah. Next is cowling. Noun from 1917. A removable metal covering that houses the engine and sometimes a part of the fuselage or nacelle of an airplane. Also, a metal cover for an engine. So is it specifically airplanes and not cars? I think it is. So it's the metal covering of an engine is the cowling. Ah. Next word, cowl neck. 2 words with a hyphen. Noun from 1978. A high, loose-fitting turnover collar used especially for sweaters. I don't know my sweater things. What is it? High, loose-fitting turnover collar. So is it part of a sweater or do you put it on with a sweater? Cowl neck. Maybe I need to do some more research to see what it looks like. If we look at cowl, it's like a hood, hooded cloak. Cowl neck. Interesting. I am so confused because I don't wear these things. I don't know what they are. I'm not a fashion guy. You should see what I look like. Not fashionable. Cowl necked is an adjective. Ah. Next is cowl staff. Or you could also say coal staff or cool staff. It's all one word. Noun from the 13th century. It is archaic. It is a staff from which a vessel is suspended and carried between 2 persons. A staff from which a vessel is suspended. So there's a vessel of some kind that's probably holding a liquid or something. It is suspended between, I guess it's maybe hanging off of the staff, and then the staff is carried by 2 people. So it's very, very important, probably. That is all it says. I am guessing this is a religious thing. The etymology says this is from Middle English couvel staff, which is from couvel, which means vessel, plus staff, and there's more at the word hive. So that's all it gives me. Cowl staff. Yeah. There's a little bit more. The cuvel is also from the Latin cupa, which means tub. A vessel, a tub. A tub is a kind of vessel, I guess. Okay, next word. Aha. It is cowman or cowman. One word, noun from 1677. Number 1, the synonyms are cowherd and cowboy. When a cowboy grows up, they become a cowman. It is kind of funny, though, that cowboy is the one that we hear of more likely, more often, but you could also say cowman. You'd think that we would hear cowman more, but no, we hear cowboy. It's just silly to me, cowboy. Number 2, a cattle owner or rancher. Next is cow parsnip. 2 words, noun from 1548. A tall, perennial North American plant of the carrot family with large compound leaves and broad umbels of white or purplish flowers. Also, a related Eurasian plant naturalized in the U.S. So, this tall, perennial North American plant, the scientific name is Heracleum lanatum. And then the related Eurasian plant is Heracleum svondilium. Svondilium. Yes, it is. Cow parsnip. Next is cowpat. 1 word, noun from 1937. It is chiefly British, and the synonym is cow pie. You could probably guess what that is. We're going to get to it shortly. Next word, cowpea. I will spell this. Cowpea. 1 word, noun from 1776. It is a sprawling herb of the legume family, related to the bean and widely cultivated in the southern U.S., especially for forage and green manure. Wait, what? It's cultivated in the southern U.S. for forage and green manure. Also, just the edible seed is the cowpea. It is called also black-eyed pea. We've heard that. I've heard that. And field pea. Haven't heard of that one. Black-eyed pea definitely seems like the more common name for this cowpea. Let's see. The scientific name is Vigna unguiculata. Unguiculata. I think that's what it is. And then also Vigna sinensis. That one's a lot easier to say. I am still a little bit confused by this forage and green manure. Is it the cows eat it and then they look for it in the manure? That can't be what it is, can it? I don't know. Next is Cowper's gland. 2 words. You could also say Cooper's gland, or maybe Cupper's gland. It is capital COWPER, apostrophe S, and then gland. Noun from 1738. Either of 2 small glands lying on either side of the male urethra below the prostate gland and discharging a secretion into the semen. This is also called bulbourethral gland. I think I said grand. Bulbourethral gland. And then it says compare to Bartholin's gland. That must be some other gland in the area, but I'm not sure what that is. So this is, there's 2 small glands either side of the urethra. I believe when a male with a penis and a prostate gland and all those things, when they ejaculate this thing, there's the semen, and then the Cowper's gland adds this secretion. What does it say? Discharging a secretion. So they combines with the semen, and it becomes, it's all, that's what comes out. The Cowper's gland is helping with that thing. Probably a lot of people don't know about that. This is from William Cowper, who was an English surgeon. He was probably the one who was like, hey, what's this thing? What does it do? I'm going to name it. He died in 1709. Aha. Next is, here's cow pie. 2 words, noun from 1951. It is a dropping of cow dung. And then, of course, the Brits like to say cow pat, because maybe it's been patted down by their feet. Ah ha ha. Next is cow poke, noun from circa 1881. It is just the number 1 definition for the word cowboy. You know what that is, because we also had cow herd, which was, I think, cow hand was the same thing. Ha. Next is cow pony, 2 words. And let's see, this is, yesterday we had cow horse. The synonym for that was cow pony. So now we will get some more information. Cow pony, 2 words, noun from 1874. An agile saddle horse trained for herding cattle. So I assume it's a horse that people ride on because you put a saddle on it. And in addition to just the cowboys riding the horses around to herd the cattle, maybe the horses will do it on their own. Cow pony. I mean, cow horse makes much more sense. Why do they call it a pony? A cow pony. I don't know. Ah. Next is cowpox. Cowpox. 1 word, noun from 1798. A mild eruptive disease of the cow that is caused by a pox virus, and that when communicated to humans protects against smallpox. So if the human gets cowpox, it will stop them from getting smallpox. But do they get sick from the cowpox? The species for this, I guess the species name is cowpox virus, or would they say virus or virus? That is of the genus Orthopoxvirus, which is all 1 word, Orthopoxvirus. And that is everything for that. I wonder how it shows in cows. Is it like chicken pox where it's little bumps, or is it something else? Smallpox in humans, I think, is much worse. So I'm curious. Ha. Next is cow puncher. 1 word. I don't like the idea of punching cows. Noun from 1878. And again, we have the number 1 definition for the word cowboy. Cow puncher, cow poke, cow hand, cowboy, cowman, all those things. Are we going to have any more? I'm going to look ahead. I don't think so. Next is cowrie. You can spell it with an IE at the end or just a Y. Cowrie. Noun from 1662. Any of various marine gastropods that are widely distributed in warm seas and have glossy and often brightly colored shells. Also, just the shell of a cowrie is called a cowrie. The family name that they are in is Cypriidae, something like that. This is from the Hindi and Urdu word cowrie, which is spelled Kauri. It is a gastropod in the water. Ha. Next is cowshed. 1 word, noun from 1763. It is a shed for the housing of cows. You got to put the cows somewhere. They need shelter. If it's raining or snowing or whatever, they would like to be covered up. They don't want to be out in the elements. So you need a shed, a place to house them. Ha. Next is cow slip. One word, noun from before the 12th century. 1. A common European primrose with fragrant yellow flowers. And the scientific name for that is Primula veris or Primula veris. And then number 2, this synonym is marsh marigold. Why is this called cow slip? Well, maybe the etymology will help. It is from Middle English, cow slip, spelled Cowslyppe, from Old English, kuslip, which is just the cu with the silly spelling of slip. That literally means cow dung. Why? Okay, why is because it is ku, which means cow, and slippa, which means paste. So it's the paste that comes out of the cow. But why? How did this become flowers? Does it look like cow dung? We have to find a picture and see. I can't imagine that it would look like cow dung, but this is very odd to me. Okay, next word. Ha. Ha. It is Cowtown. I am going down to Cowtown. I will put in an audio clip, maybe here, maybe shortly, soon, we'll see. It is 2 words, noun from 1885. 1. A town or city that serves as a market center or shipping point for cattle. The town is just, the cattle and the cows are very important to this town, so it's a cow town. I'm going down to Cowtown, cows are friends to me. 2. A usually small, unsophisticated town within a cattle-raising area. And somewhere I will have put in an audio clip of the They Might Be Giants song called Cowtown. Next, it is our last word. We've got 2 forms. It is cox, C-O-X. First form, noun from 1869, and the synonym is coxswain, and is that, you can say coxswain or coxswain. I know that because that's in tomorrow's episode, and I can look at the pronunciation. It is spelled C-O-X-S-W-A-I-N, coxswain. We don't know what it is. We'll learn tomorrow. Coxed, with an ed, is an adjective, and coxless is also an adjective. So that was noun. Now we have the second form of cox. This is the verb. It is from 1881, and again, the synonym is coxswain. So just to look ahead, we've got also 2 forms of coxswain, a noun form and a verb form. So obviously that's how they match up. No clue what it is. I've heard the word before, but I don't remember what it is. Okay, so in this episode, we had cowl, cowlick, cowling, cowl neck, cowl staff, cowman, cow parsnip, cowpat, cowpea, cowper's gland, cowpoke, cow pie, cowpoke, cow pony, cowpox, cow puncher, cowrie. I really hope the cowboys aren't punching cows. Cowrie, cowshed, cowslip, cowtown, cox. Let's see. Well, let's see. I'm looking through. There wasn't anything that really jumped out at me. Some of them are fine. Maybe I will pick cowlick as the word of the episode. My hair grows out of my head. Funny. Most of it goes in one direction, but this one little part is a cowlick. Cowlick, it looks like a cow licked my head. That's all for that. All right, we're going to end the episode there. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of this podcast called The Dictionary. I think I need to turn this down a little bit. How'd it get so loud? Okay. I missed yesterday was the first day of April when that episode aired. So hi, happy April. Okay. This is the top of page 290. This is going to be a fun episode. We're going to finish up the COs and move on to the CPs. What words start with CP? Well, you'll just have to listen to this episode and find out. Okay, the first one in this episode is koipu. Yeah, koipu. Or you can pronounce it koipu. Emphasize either syllable. Coypu. Noun from 1793. And the synonym is just nutria. Nutria. This is from the American Spanish word koipu with an I instead of a Y. From the Mapuche word, also koipu. I assume Mapuche is probably in Central America or South America, but I don't know. I don't know where, and it's not telling me what koipu means, other than maybe nutria, whatever that is. Sound effect is going to be floof. Next word is cuz, C-O-Z, noun from 1559. And the synonym is just cousin. Yeah, hey, cuz, what's going on, cuz? Although I feel like do I spell it C-U-Z or C-O-Z? I guess either one makes sense. But maybe when we get to the C-U section, we will see you then. Okay, floof. Next word is cousin, spelled C-O-Z-E-N. Is it another alternative way to spell cousin? I don't know. Maybe not. First, verb from 1573. 1. To deceive, win over, or induce to do something by artful coaxing and wheedling or shrewd trickery. Wow. Deceive, win over, or induce to do something. So you're coaxing somebody or wheedling them to do something, or you're performing shrewd trickery on them. Wow, you want to make them do something in those ways. Cousin. Number 2, to gain by cousining someone. As in, cousined his supper out of the old couple. Wow, yeah, this is not a nice thing to do. So does that mean that he convinced the old couple to give them their dinner to him? Wow. How have I never heard this word before? A synonym is the word cheat. Cousinor is a noun, the one who is doing all the cousining. This is perhaps from the Italian cozzonare, from also the Italian cozzone, which is horse trader, from the Latin cosio, which is trader. Now it's Trader. I assume that's somebody who trades things, like trading horses. But it became very, very, very negative to do things in a mean way. Floof. Next word is probably related. It is cousinage or cousinage. 2 syllables or 3 syllables. So we just added age to the end of cousin. Noun from 1583. 1. The art or practice of cousining. And the synonym is fraud. 2. An act or an instance of cousining. Interesting word. Floof. Oh man, I thought I had something. Oh yes, I just happened, not that this has come up in this episode, but maybe it will later. I remember at one point saying, what does vulgar mean? We see vulgar Latin, and it's been in a few other places. And I just happened to hear on a podcast today that vulgar, it just means common. So vulgar Latin would be common Latin. So I wanted to teach that to you because I learned it today. I speak English good. Okay, next word, floof. It is the word cozy. Oh, I'm sort of cozy right now, but I would like to be even cozier. First form, adjective from 1709, 1a, enjoying or affording warmth and ease. And the synonym is snug, as in a cozy lakeside cabin. 1b, marked by or providing contentment or comfort, as in won by a cozy margin. You felt so good about that margin. You were not worried at all. 2a, marked by the intimacy of the family or a close group. 2b, marked by or suggesting close association or connivance. Connivance? As in a cozy agreement. 3, marked by a discreet and cautious attitude or procedure. A synonym for all is the word comfortable. So comfortable. Cozily is an adverb, and coziness is a noun. I think we all deserve some extra coziness. This is perhaps of Scandinavian origin, akin to the Norwegian word koselig, Koselig, and that means cozy. So yeah, it probably is definitely akin to that, yes. Cozy. Just gonna curl up on the bed with a blanket and a hot chocolate, watch a movie. That sounds great. Floof. Next word is the second form of cozy, noun from 1863. 1, a padded covering, especially for a teapot, to keep the contents hot. It's the tea cozy. That teapot feels so cozy when you put it on a cozy. 2, a light detective story that usually features a well-educated protagonist and little explicit violence. Little. So does that mean there's virtually no explicit violence, or is it saying that there's just a little? I don't know. A light detective story with just a little explicit violence. People call that a cozy? Maybe it's because when you read it, you're cozied up on your reading chair. Who knows? Next, floof. Third form of cozy. This is the adverb form from 1946. In a cautious manner, as in play it cozy and wait for the other team to make a mistake. And that is a quote from Bobby Dodd. Good old Bobby Dodd. I don't know who that is. Probably a coach, a sports coach of some kind. Because why else would he be talking about that? You just it's like in boxing. You just let the other person try and hit you, and you just try and dodge everything and just wear them out, or let them make a mistake. Floof. Next word is cozy up. 2 words. Intransitive verb from 1965. To attain or try to attain familiarity, friendship, or intimacy. And then also ingratiate oneself. As in cozying up to the boss. You want to be friends with the boss, familiar with the boss. Do people also say cozy up to the bar? I feel like I've heard that phrase. You want to become friends with the bar. Okay, that was the last of the CO words. Now we have a very short CP section, and that's actually going to end at the end of this episode. And then tomorrow's episode, we will have an extremely short CQ section, and then we get into the CRs, which will go on for a while. I don't know why I tell you these things. I just like to. Okay. Floof. Next is CP, abbreviation for 1, compare, 2, coupon. Floof. Now we have CP again, all caps, abbreviation for 1, candle power, which is 1 word, 2, center of pressure, 3, cerebral palsy, 4, charter party, 5, chemically pure, 6, Command Post. 7. Communist Party. 8. Congregation of the Passion. And 9. Custom of Port. A very wide range of things that CP can stand for. I want you to write me a story which uses every single one of those in some way. Not the abbreviation CP, although that would be fun too. You just put in CP and then you have to figure out which one of those 9 things goes in that spot. It's like opposite Mad Libs maybe. But I think it would also be fun to have a story where you mention candle power, center of pressure, cerebral palsy, charter party, chemically pure, command post, communist party, congregation of the passion, and custom of port. Fluif. Next is CPA, all caps, abbreviation for Certified Public Accountant. They deal with your money, and you gotta thank them because you need them. Floif. Next is CPAP, all caps, abbreviation for Continuous Positive Airway Pressure. That's is that a CPAP? That's what they say. I think it's in just hospitals, medical situations. Floof. Next is CPB, all caps, abbreviation for Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Floof. CPCU, all caps, abbreviation for Chartered Property Casualty Underwriter. My brain does not know what to do with those words. Chartered Property Casualty Underwriter. Okay. Next, floof. CPD, all lowercase, abbreviation for Compound. Compound. Floif. CPFF, all caps, abbreviation for Cost Plus Fixed Fee. What context do these words get used in? Cost plus fixed fee. I don't know. Florf. Next is CPI, abbreviation for characters per inch. That's sort of related to font size. What's the CPI? How many characters can you fit in an inch? Let's see. What? That's about an inch there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8, like around 19 or 20. This book is about 19 to 20 characters per inch. The CPI of this book is maybe 20. Sure. Floof. Next is CPI, all caps, abbreviation for Consumer Price Index. Floof. CPL, abbreviation for 1. Complete. 2. Compline. COMPLINE. Floif. CPL, capital C, abbreviation for corporal. Flof. CPM, all caps, abbreviation for cost per thousand. And you would think that it would be CPT, but the reason it is CPM is because we're using the Latin word mille or mille, M-I-L-L-E, and that means thousand. Cost per thousand. So are they using 2 English words and then a Latin word? That's interesting. Cost per mille. It's thousand. Floif. CPO, all caps, abbreviation for Chief Petty Officer. Flarf. CPR, abbreviation for Cardiopulmonary Resuscitation, an extremely important thing that I should probably get trained up on, but I know the basics. We need more people who know CPR. Floof. CPS, all caps, abbreviation for 1. Cards per second. 2. Certified Professional Secretary. 3. Characters per second. 4. Cycles per second. Flonkf. CPSC, all caps, abbreviation for Consumer Product Safety Commission. Flurf. CPT, all caps, abbreviation for captain. And our last one, floof. It is officially pronounced CPU, and it is spelled CPU. It is a noun from 1962. I guess it is also often capitalized. I don't know why they put it here in lowercase. I just think it's funny that they even gave the pronunciation of how to say it, CPU. It is the component of a computer system that performs the basic operations as processing data of the system, that exchanges data with the system's memory or peripherals, and that manages the system's other components, called also just processor. Yes, it's a very important thing in your computer and all of the things that you do. You need the CPU, and it lets you do things. I would like to pronounce it kapoo. Okay, so the words in this episode were koipu, cuz, cousin, cousinage, cozy, 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 cozy up, CP, CPA, CPA, CPAP, CPB, CPCU, CPD, CPFF, CPI, CPI, CPL, CPL, CPM, CPO, CPR, CPS, CPSC, CPT, CPU. I shall pick CPR as the word of the episode. You got to do the CPR. We were just watching a movie last night where somebody was telling somebody else to do CPR because that person was already doing CPR or something on somebody else, and they were having them do like the chest compressions to the Macarena song, but it was a little bit of a weird rhythm kind of, and it didn't quite make sense to my brain. But I think the best one is if you're supposed to do the compressions to the Bee Gees song "Staying Alive." It's the right rhythm, and also it's just called "Staying Alive." You're trying to keep them alive, so that's the one to do it. So maybe we'll sing "Staying Alive, Staying Alive, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, staying alive." That's good enough for this. That's higher quality than most everything here. Okay, that is going to be the end of this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until the next episode, this has been Spencer dispensing information. Ta-ta. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this episode of the dictionary. Yeah, it's so exciting. Okay, the first word is CQ, all caps, first form. And it says it's pronounced CQ. It's from 1924. It is communications code letters used at the beginning of messages of general information or safety notices, or by shortwave amateurs as an invitation to talk to other shortwave amateurs. Amateurs over these, amateurs want to talk to other amateurs in these different forms of communication, and they say CQ. What does it mean? It means call to quarters. Come over here to the quarters so we can talk. Something like that. The sound effect will be second form of CQ, abbreviation for 1, charge of quarters, and 2, commercial quality. Next is CR, abbreviation for 1, center, 2, circular, 3, commander, 4, cream, 5, creased, 6, credit or creditor, 7, creek, and 8, crescendo. How did the people who wrote this book figure out all of the different possibilities that CR can be abbreviated to? I mean, you go through this section of CR words. Couldn't it be like virtually any one of them? Okay. Next, CR, again with a capital C. This is the chemical symbol for chromium. Chromium. Next, CR, all caps. Abbreviation for 1. Carrier's risk. 2. Cathode ray. 3. Conditioned reflex or conditioned response. 4. Consciousness raising. And 5. Current rate. Okay, now we're going to get into some real words, not abbreviations. Crab. That is the first real, official, quote-unquote, real word in the CR section. First form noun from before the 12th century. So number 1, the plural is either crabs or crab. It just wanted to tell me that. So, number 1, any of numerous, chiefly marine, broadly built decapod crustaceans. Decapod, I think, means that they have 10 limbs. Like 1A, any of an infraorder with a short, broad, usually flattened carapace, a small abdomen that curls forward beneath the body, short antennae, and the anterior part of the limbs modified as grasping pinchers or pincers. The infraorder is Brachyura. 1B, any of various crustaceans of an infraorder, a different one, resembling true crabs in the more or less reduced condition of the abdomen. The more or less reduced condition, the abdomen has been reduced? The infraorder in this case is Anomura, something like that. So different kinds of crabs or things that are like crabs, but they are basically decapod crustaceans. They're very cool. We got to post a picture of a crab. I just saw a video where a crab with its tiny little, not the big claw hands, but the other little ones, it like wiped its eyes of sand. They were covered in sand, and then it wiped them, and then they were free from sand. And it was very cute. Okay, number 2 is capitalized, and it is the number 1 definition for the word cancer. And what is it? The Cancer constellation is in the shape of a crab. I don't remember, but yeah, it's something about crabs. 3 would be plural, infestation with crab lice. So then you say, you got the crabs. And we're just going to leave that one at that. Number 4, the angular difference between an aircraft's course and the heading necessary to make that course in the presence of a crosswind. I've never flown a plane before, so I am very confused by this one. The angular difference between an aircraft's course and the heading necessary to make that course in the presence of a crosswind. Okay, so you're going straight to your thing. You're going from LA to New York. You got to follow this line. But there's a wind that's going from your left to your right. It's pushing you to the right. It's pushing you off course. So you have to adjust your course towards the left so the wind keeps you on course. And that's called the crab? Is it because crabs they walk sideways mostly? So maybe that's the thing. You're like pushing your plane sideways so you go straight. It's interesting. The etymology. It is from Old English, krabba, akin to the Old High German krebis, which means crab, perhaps to the Old English kjorfan or kjorfan, which means to carve, and there's more at the word carve. Why? What is it? Do they look like they have been carved out of something? That's interesting. What was my sound effect? I think it was... Second form of crab is a verb from 1657, starting with intransitive 1, to fish for crabs. Wouldn't that mean that you crab for crabs? Well, yes, you're crabbing. It's fishing, but it's crabbing. It's fishing for crabs. 2A1, to move sideways, indirectly, or diagonally. And 2A2, to grab an airplane. Oh, no, not grab, crab. To crab an airplane. That's the thing that we just learned about. Oh no, there's a crosswind on our flight. We gotta crab this thing. Where are we? 2B, to scuttle or scurry sideways. I think it's fun when to crab. Put your hands down and your feet down and you just move. It's a funny motion. Now we have transitive 1, to cause to move sideways or in an indirect or diagonal manner. Specifically, to head into a crosswind to counteract drift. Yes, that was a very good describer of that. And then, of course, the thing that you are heading into the crosswind would be an airplane. And number 2, to subject to crabbing. Crabber is a noun. Third form of crab, noun from the 14th century, and the synonym is crab apple. Fourth form of crab, noun from 1580, an ill-tempered person, and the synonym is grouch. Oh, you're such a crab. We will get to crabby soon. Fifth form of crab, verb from 1662, starting with transitive 1, to make sullen, and the synonym is sour, as in old age has crabbed his nature. I feel that is a fairly common thing, and I am not surprised by it at all. I think I will get extra crabby as I get older. 2, to complain about peevishly. To complain about peevishly. You are complaining a lot in a peevish way. 3, the synonyms are spoil and ruin. And intransitive is just a couple synonyms, which are carp and grouse. That's a verb. Though I thought those were nouns, but maybe they're verbs as well. As in the example, always crabs about the weather. Crabber is a noun. And let's see, that's the etymology. I don't care for it. I don't care for it one bit. So we're going to move on to crab apple. 2 words, noun from 1680. Any of various wild or cultivated trees that are cultivars or relatives of the cultivated apple and that produce small sour fruit. And then also just the fruit is called crabapple. The genus name is Malus. Yeah, Malus. And it says it is from the third form of crab, which just takes us back to here, which is crabapple. I love the fact that in The Simpsons, one of the teachers is Miss Crabapple. They just took Crabapple because she's kind of crabby, I think, and it's just a great name, Crabapple. I think when I was growing up, I think my parents had a crabapple tree in the backyard. You just find them on the ground, just like rotting. The squirrels probably would eat them. Can you do anything with crab apples? If you like, as long as they're clean, not been rotting on the ground. It's a small sour fruit. Would you want to eat it? I don't know. I've never tried. Next word. Buh. It is crabbed. Adjective from the 14th century. 1. Marked by a forbidding moroseness, as in a crabbed view of human nature. So you're very morose, of a crabbed view. I guess I would assume you're very crabby about everything. Maybe not. Number 2, difficult to read or understand, as in crabbed handwriting. My handwriting isn't crabbed, but I have definitely seen crabbed handwriting. Where is this from? Let's see. Another synonym is the word sullen. Again, I don't know why I said another because that's just the only one. Crabbedness. Crabness is a noun. And this is from Middle English, crab, Crabbe, and it means crustacean. Also, partly from the same word, crab, which means crab apple. Also, why did we call it a crab apple? And why is this word looking so weird now? Crab apple, does it have anything to do with the crustacean, the crab? Is the apple gone crabby or crappy? Is it frustrated with life? Maybe. Okay, I think that is all for crabbed. Next word. Blech. This sound effect is making me crabby. Hey, that's our next word. Crabby. Adjective from 1599. The synonyms are cross and ill-natured, as in a crabby recluse. I feel like there would be more of a definition to that one, but they just wanted to give us synonyms. This is from the fourth form of the word crab, which is just an ill-tempered person. So yeah, I guess that's where we get the real definition. The synonym there is grouch. Grouch, cross, ill-natured. Sometimes I get crabby. I'm not going to lie. You probably do too. It's all part of being human. Some things just make you crabby. Next word. Blech. Crab-eater seal. It's two words. Crab-eater seal. Noun from 1913. An Antarctic hair seal that feeds on krill and lives and breeds on pack ice. Also just called crab-eater. Now, krill, those are not crabs as far as I'm aware. I think they're just tiny little things that live in the water. So do they eat krill or do they eat crabs? Or both? Or what's the deal? Because they're called crab-eater seals. Maybe they should be called krill-eater seals. The species name is Lobodon carcinophaga, I think. Maybe we'll find a picture of this. Crab-eater seal. Next word. It is crabgrass. One word, noun from 1743. A grass that has creeping or decumbent stems which root freely on the nodes and that is often a pest in turf or cultivated lands. The species name, or at least one of them, is Digitaria sanguinalis. It doesn't say why it's called crabgrass. I would assume that when people find this grass, they get very crabby, so that must be why. I'm just going to say that's why. All right, one more for this episode. It is crab louse. Two words, noun from 1547. A sucking louse infesting the pubic region of the human body. Oh, what a great way to end this episode. The species name is, let me see if I can read this, Phthirus pubis. The first word is spelled Phthirus. Do you say Phthirus? I don't know. Help me out. So let's see. This was connected to, where was it? Let's see. I'm getting closer. The one where we said you got the crabs. Here we go. First form of crab, number 3, plurals, infestation with crab lice. And of course, louse is the singular of lice, so that's what that is. I don't think you want to get this. It sounds like it sucks. And they are a sucking louse. Hey, how appropriate. Okay. So the words in this episode were CQ, CQ, CR, 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 crab, 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 crab apple, crabbed, crabby, crab-eater seal, crabgrass, and crab louse. And we're going to have a few more crab words tomorrow. Okay, so I think I just like crabby. I mean, whatever. Like I said, we all get crabby. We all get crabby sometimes. It's okay. It's just a bad time. It won't last. It's all temporary. Be crabby, but don't be mean. It will pass. Okay, that is it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening. And until tomorrow, next time, this has been Spencer dispensing information, and it probably will be again. Okay, bye. Hello, word nerds. I have said that phrase so many times. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this show, this wonderful variety show. It's a podcast called The Dictionary. I am your host, Spencer. I am reading this book in short sections, and I tell you about what I think positively, negatively, mistakes, comments, whatever. And other things happen. I need to get more guests. It's just this life. It's hard to get guests sometimes. Hard to fit it in. Okay, the first word in this episode is crab meat. One word, noun from 1876. The edible part of a crab. Now, there are animals that we eat. You know, a cow, we call it beef, and pig, we call it pork, and chicken is chicken, and turkey is turkey, obviously. I don't eat any of these things. If you listen to this show with any regularity, you know that I am vegan, and I choose not to eat that stuff. But how many things like that would be in the dictionary? I guess beef and pork, those probably would be, but none of them are blank meat. Is there anything else that's like that? The edible part of a crab is crab meat. We don't say fish meat, cow meat, anything like that. I don't know. I had thought about this for a second, and I just thought it was odd. Obviously, there's crab rangoon and crab cakes, and they use the crab meat for those things. Okay, moving on. We got to do a sound effect. It is... That might make a little bit more sense for you later, and I'll try and make it better as we go along. Next is crab spider. Two things that I think so many people hate. Crabs and spiders. Two words, if I didn't say that. Noun from 1861. Any of a family of spiders that resemble crabs in shape and in being able to walk forward, backward, and sideways. Oh, fun. Let's look at that spider just move any which way it wants to go. The family name is Thomisidae. Obviously, I'm going to have to post a picture to the social media on of crab spiders at dictionarypod. There was another coconut. No. Was it coconut or was it something? There was something else that was similar. I think it was like coconut crab. Maybe that's what it was. Cool looking stuff. But this is a spider that looks like a crab. It resembles a crab. Okay, next. Crab stick. One word. Noun from 1636. 1. A stick, cane, or cudgel of crab apple tree wood. So you gather up all of your crab apple tree wood, and you can put it or turn it into a stick, a cane, or a cudgel, and it is a crab stick. That is not at all what I would have guessed a crab stick would be. I would assume it's just the stick that you use to poke a crab. Why would that even be in the dictionary? That's why it doesn't make any sense. Number 2, a crabbed, ill-natured person. You're very crabby, you crab stick. I think I'm going to have to start calling some people crab sticks. Next word. Crab wise. One word. CRABWISE. Adverb from 1863. Number 1. The synonym is sideways. Yeah, because crabs, they pretty much, they often go sideways. Not forwards or backwards. They go sideways because that's how their legs are built. Again, I don't know if they always go that way, but often. So yeah, it's crab-wise. Number 2, in a sidling or cautiously indirect manner. A sidling or cautious indirect manner. So if you're doing something just very cautiously, it's crabwise. It's like, I'm going to sidestep this. I'm not sure if I want to go at it full force. Let's try this crabwise direction and see if that works. Okay, we are almost on our last word. This next word is, it's crack. Crack sounds like crack. Crack. You get it now. This is the first form. The first two forms are rather long. Okay. Crack, verb from before the 12th century. 1. To make a very sharp explosive sound, as in the whip cracks through the air. Whoosh. 2. To break, split, or snap apart. 3. The synonym is fail, as 3a. To lose control or effectiveness under pressure, and this is often used with the word up. Crack up. Lose control or effectiveness under pressure. Oh, there's so much pressure on me, I can't do anything. I'm cracking up. 3b. To fail in tone, as in his voice cracked. 4. To go or travel at good speed, and this is used with the word on, as in the steamboat cracked on. It's really chugging away at 5 miles an hour. Okay, so I didn't realize those were intransitive definitions, and now we have transitive definitions, and there's a bunch of those. Way more. 1a. To break so that fissures appear on the surface, as in crack a mirror. I didn't realize that the crack marks on a mirror would be called fissures. And of course, they say you get 7 years bad luck if you crack or break a mirror. Pretty sure that that's not real, but you could experiment with that. 1b. No, don't go breaking mirrors. That's just not smart. 1b. To break with a sudden sharp sound, as in crack nuts. Get one of those nutcrackers, put like a walnut in there, and crack it, and it will probably make a sudden sharp sound. 2. To tell, especially suddenly or strikingly. To tell, especially suddenly or strikingly, as in crack a joke. I don't think I would call telling a joke suddenly or strikingly, but yes, crack a joke. 3. To strike with a sharp noise, and the synonym is rap, as in then cracks him over the head. Then cracks him over the head, raps him over the head, and when his head gets hit, it makes a sharp noise. I don't know if you heard that. Also is in cracked a 2-run homer in the 5th, and that is a quote from the New York Times. Who were they talking about? What team did they play for? What was the situation? What year was this? That one, yeah, crack with a sharp noise. When the ball hits the bat, it's definitely going to make a sharp noise. And then if it's a homer, a 2-run homer, it's going to go pretty far, probably. Okay, 4A1. To open as a bottle for drinking. Let's crack open this bottle or can of something so we can then drink it. 4A2. To open a book for studying. And I believe that one comes from when you first open a book that has a pretty big, or not, maybe doesn't even need to be a big, what's this thing called? The spine. If it's got any sort of spine and the first time you open it, that spine is going to kind of crack. Might even make a sound. So I think that's why we say, let's crack open a book. Crack open the book to study it. 4B. To puzzle out and expose, solve, or reveal the mystery of, as in crack a code. Might it be the Da Vinci Code that we need to crack? 4C. To break into, as in crack a safe. that takes a lot of skill. No clue how to do that. What are they listening for when they put their ear on the thing? Why do we call it crack a safe? Because it's cracked. Maybe sometimes it was literally cracked open. Now they just use, things to open up the thing. For D, to open slightly, as in crack the throttle. I would have assumed it would be like crack the door or something like that. Just open it a little bit. But no, we're talking about the throttle in a vehicle, of an engine of some kind. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. For E, to break through as a barrier so as to gain acceptance or recognition. For F, to show or begin showing a smile, especially reluctantly or uncharacteristically. To show or begin to show, especially reluctantly or uncharacteristically. The example would be a smile. Just crack a little smile, especially if you're someone who doesn't usually smile. Oh my God, they cracked a smile. 5A, to impair seriously or irreparably. And the synonym is wreck, W-R-E-C-K, as in crack an opponent's courage. Of course, I thought about a car. You can crack, well, no. People don't say, I cracked my car. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that. But you can crack an opponent's courage. 5B, to destroy the tone of. And you might be talking about a voice. To destroy the tone of. Although, I don't know. Is that destroying the tone? I don't know. Maybe there's something else with the voice that can be cracked. 5C, synonyms are disorder and craze. 5D, to interrupt sharply or abruptly, as in the criticism cracked our complacency. 6, to make a sharp noise, as in cracks his knuckles. I do this a lot. I crack all the things. I think there's a lot of people that think that it will cause arthritis or other problems. I feel like I've heard that they've pretty much said, no, it's not going to do that. But you never know. Throughout my life, I have been able to, either often or just on occasion, crack my knuckles, my wrists, my elbows, my shoulders, my neck, my back, my hips, my knees, my toes. Ankles, yeah. It's too much, I think. But it happens. 7A1, to subject to cracking. And the thing that you might be subjecting to cracking is, or are, hydrocarbons. 7A2, to produce by cracking, as in cracked gasoline. I've never heard of this one. I've heard of fracking. Do you crack when you go get the gasoline in the ground? But that's not gasoline. Hasn't it been processed? They're getting oil or something. This one's interesting to me. 7B, to break up into simpler compounds by means of heat. And you might be breaking up chemical compounds. We have a couple phrases. The first one is crack the whip. And that means to adopt or apply an authoritative, tyrannical, or threatening approach or policy, as in demanding harder work from employees. Oh, they say you gotta do more stuff. You gotta do more work. I'm gonna really crack the whip on you, and I hope it's not a literal whip, because that would not be good. And I think that the cops would come and take you away, because you're not allowed to do that in workplaces anymore. The other phrase is crack wise, and that means to make a wise crack. Oh, you're just cracking wise with all those wise cracks. Okay, the etymology says this is from, akin to the Old High German krachon. I don't know how to say that word. It means to resound. So I think it's a sound, resound out crack. Speaking of, crack. We are now on the second form of crack, noun from the 14th century. 1A, a loud roll or peal, P-E-A-L, as in a crack of thunder. That's very scary when that happens, especially to kids and animals. But I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like the thunderstorms, especially if they're far away. But I think the closest I ever was to a lightning strike, so that would be the crack of thunder, because that sound comes from lightning. It seemed I was at my friend's house. I was looking out the back window. It seemed like the lightning struck in his backyard. I don't think it did, but it was incredibly close. That was the closest I've ever been to lightning, and the sound was immediate and loud, and it was something else. Hope that's as close as I ever get to lightning. Okay, 1B. This is a reminder. This is the noun form of crack. I wonder where this is going to go. 1B, a sudden sharp noise, as in the crack of rifle fire. 2, a sharp, witty remark, and the synonym is quip. I don't have a lot of those. Every once in a while I'll get a good one, but no, not enough. 3A, a narrow break, and the synonym is fissure, as in a crack in the ice. 3B, a narrow opening. Oh, that's the end of that sentence. A narrow opening, as in leave the door open a crack. Would you please? I just want a little light to come through the door, the cracked door. Also as in cracks between floorboards. This is used figuratively in phrases like fall through the cracks to describe one that has been improperly or inadvertently ignored or left out. Oh, that person, they were left out. They have fallen through the cracks. Or maybe not a person, but just something. As in the example, a player who fell through the cracks in the college draft. Also as in, children slipping through the cracks of available youth services. Well, that is very sad. I hope that the children don't fall through those cracks. Also, I hope that there are no children literally falling or slipping through cracks, because that would be painful for them. What are they going to fall into? And also, they must be very, very tiny, because cracks in the floors are small. 4A, a weakness or flaw caused by decay, age, or deficiency. And the synonym is unsoundness. Unsoundness. 4B, a broken tone of the voice. And I've already done that example a couple of times. 4C, the synonym is crackpot. Would that be just like a crazy person? 5, the synonyms are moment and instant, as in the crack of dawn. That very moment that it happens, that instant is the crack. Why do they call it the crack of dawn? I'm curious. Is it because it's like the light is just, there's like a little sliver of it, and it's kind of like the door? I don't know. I have to get up very early tomorrow. It's before the crack of dawn. But why do we call it the crack of dawn? I want to know now. 6, the synonyms are housebreaking and burglary. 7, a sharp resounding blow, as in gave him a crack on the head. Ow. 8, an attempt or opportunity to do something, as in her first crack at writing a novel. Again, why do we call it that? Take a crack at it. Give it a shot. I don't know. Interesting. Also as in, got first crack at the job opening. If you have any ideas or funny jokes as to why we are using this word in this way, let me know. You know how to find me. 9, a potent form of cocaine that is obtained by treating the hydrochloride of cocaine with sodium bicarbonate to create small chips used illicitly for smoking. And this is called also crack cocaine. I had no clue. I mean, didn't even think about it, but yes, I was not prepared for that going in that direction. All of a sudden, a potent form of cocaine that is obtained by treating. So they do something to it, and it becomes crack. I have actually wondered, what is the difference? Because I hear these words together, but I hear them separately. I don't know. This sort of helped, I guess, a little bit, but it's still very confusing to me. Don't try this stuff, please and thank you. I think that would be a very bad idea. I will tell an extremely short story, and maybe someday I will tell more of it. But I'm pretty sure I was offered this stuff once, and I very promptly declined and got out of there. But that's a story for another day. Okay. Crack. Third form of crack. Adjective from 1793. Of superior excellence or ability, as in a crack marksman. And I am very disappointed, and you might be too. I'm very disappointed that the crack in the butt crack was not in any of these definitions. I feel like, wouldn't it be? You could put slang. You could say it's slang. But I thought that was a little odd. I expected to see that there. All right, we have one more word for this episode. That's more like a duck sound. That's not what we're going for. Let's just do... I can't. I'm done. Good thing that we're at the end of the episode. Okay, so this one is very much related to the number 9 definition that we just read. And you've probably already seen this in the title. It is crack baby. 2 words. Of course, we have to talk about this stuff when they come up. It is a noun from 1986. An infant subjected to prolonged exposure to crack cocaine in the mother's womb. So, there is a woman, and she gets pregnant, but she is also using the crack cocaine, and so the baby, because it all goes through her bloodstream, and her blood goes into the baby's blood, it all mixes in. This crack cocaine gets into the baby's blood, and they become dependent on it. So when they're born, that causes some problems, and they have to clean their system out, or maybe I don't know if they're literally cleaning the system out, but they have to wean them away from this stuff somehow, and that's just not good for anybody. But then hopefully, their body gets clean, and hopefully there are no lasting problems. I really don't know much about that part of things. Okay, so the words in this episode were crab meat, crab spider, crab stick, crab wise, crack baby. I was thinking about crab wise because that's a fun one, but maybe I'll just pick crack. I mean, geez, there's just so many definitions for this one word, different ways it can be used. It's very versatile, and I like it. And I think I've said this before, but I will say it again. Oh, I wonder, actually, maybe I will hold on to this. Maybe I'll save that for tomorrow. So maybe do I want to change? Maybe I will just pick Crabwise. I don't know how to sing a song about Crabwise. And I'm trying to do new things. Do I think of a style? Sideways. I want to go sideways. I think I'll do it crabwise. That's the end of the song. They gotta keep them short. I don't know why I said they, I meant me. The short songs are the best songs. I don't know why I'm still singing the song. Okay, that's all the stuff. No more stuff for you today. I talked too long. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.